Welcome back to the Plus Side of Nashville, everybody. We've been talking about Springback Recycling, where they're, quote, breaking down mattresses and building up lives. This unique program not only helps keep old mattresses out of landfills by recycling them, but they also offer employment to former inmates. So it's a win-win situation. Andrew Grossman from Sleep Outfitters is back with me, and we're joined now by John Gonas, who's the president of Springback Recycling. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So we've had a chance to visit with Andrew and Kim from Sleep Outfitters and talk about this wonderful partnership in the program. Is it true that you, who are also not only president of this organization, but you're a finance professor at Belmont, so is it true that your students came up with this as a part of the Enactus organization?
That's right. I'm the faculty advisor for Belmont Enactus. Enactus is on 600 college campuses in the United States and 1,700 around the world, and it's designed to help college students create social enterprise that typically has what we call a triple bottom line: an environmental, an economic, and a social benefit. And the students 4 years ago conceived the idea of creating a waste diversion economic model, if you will, for a nonprofit, so you could employ formerly incarcerated men and at the same time divert millions of pounds of waste out of the landfill. And so IMS and Sleep Outfitters was the first anchor tenant, so to speak, and they're the ones that pioneered with us to offer the inventory of the mattresses, and then we sell all the raw material on the back end out back into the market so it can be repurposed.
I just think it's a great way to address two social issues that both need addressing. And I know when these folks first probably came and you all were presented with this idea, Andrew, what went through your mind? Like, these Belmont students are onto something here.
It was a real watershed moment for us as a retailer who ultimately have to deal with the byproduct of selling mattresses, which is obviously disposing of them. I remember very distinctly the meeting that we sat down with, and I was presented with the concept, and instantly it was a no-brainer for our business, not only to deal with the disposal, but the social pieces that are related to it. You know, you've highlighted the incarcerated men who do the physical work, the recycling bit, which keeps it out of the landfill. And for us, it became something that we were excited to be a part of and wanted to replicate in other markets.
So you allowed them to use the space, that you all helped find the space for them?
No, the Springback Group had their own warehouse space. Our real contribution to this was making it a scalable venture. You know, our locations provide the raw materials for the Springback teams to disassemble and then obviously sell the raw materials into the marketplace for basically each raw component.
So, John, talk about how this affects the men who work there. I know lots of times folks who've been incarcerated cannot find a job. They get out and, you know, have maybe turned over their lives, but they cannot find a job. How does this affect them?
I've seen a statistic that 67% of all men who have a felony conviction, at least in this state, are incarcerated again within 2 years. And so finding a job is really difficult. Having a criminal record is extremely difficult, and especially in finding some sort of transitional employment. So Isaiah 58, Springback Nashville, is run by Isaiah 58, and Bill Ruff had a vision, and we partnered with them. So the college students created the model, created the operations model, helped find the facility and write the grants to capitalize this. And create the business plan and business model. And Bill had the vision of trying to give these men solid transitional employment where they're getting a good paycheck, they are housed, and then we teach them in financial literacy as well along the way. So they're basically preparing themselves for re-entry into the permanent job market. And so having this transitional employment in addition to the environmental benefit that we've talked about is key for the men in building their resume and re-entering the workforce.
And it's such a wonderful program. It is growing. It really is growing fast. How many locations do you have now around the country?
Springback Nashville is kind of the mother church, if you will, and then and they're getting ready to celebrate 100,000 mattresses this year after 3 years. We 2 years ago opened one in Denver, and then licensed in Tacoma, Charlotte, and just licensed 2 weeks ago in Salt Lake City. So we're qualifying opportunities around the country where there is a ministry very similar to Isaiah 58. There is a predictable inflow of mattresses, and there's raw material buyers on the back end, so it can pay for itself. Our goal is for each center to be sustainable and profitable by itself. And so it takes about 6 to 8 months to qualify, but we're slowly growing it and taking mattresses out of the landfill.
You both are doing great work. I can't tell you how proud I am of this program and what you all are doing at Sleep Outfitters. It's just amazing, and I commend you both, John, Andrew. Thank you so much for being here to tell us all about this program. And when we come back, we'll talk about some of the things that are taking place at the Nashville Farmers Market. Stay with us.